Sagittarius, what's going on, love? Welcome to Melanated Mindfulness Tarot. As you come into this space, I am sending you all the good energy and positive vibes that you may need in this time, okay? Before we get into your reading, if you would like to book a session with me, if you would like to follow me on Facebook, TikTok, or Instagram, all of that information is going to be in the description box so you can locate that stuff there, okay? Now, if you are a person who actually likes and or appreciates good energy and positive vibes and you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do so. Please do so. While I'm shuffling, you can be clicking the subscribe button and we can come back at the same time. All right. Let's get into it. Spirit, you know the messages that the collective needs to hear. You know their heart and you know their situation. So can you please give me the cards that they need in order for me to be able to deliver the message in a way that they'll be able to receive it with an open mind and an open heart. Okay, we got a couple. And so what I'm going to do, I'm getting some from the Thoth Tarot, and I will clarify with the clarification deck, and then I will go into the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle deck before we get up out of here to get some closing messages, basically. All right. Let's see what we got so far. Give me a second, y'all. All right. We're looking for one more. We're looking for at least one. I guess we ain't have to look hard, huh? So, let me grab this one right quick because I didn't have this out. My bad, y'all. I thought it was over here, but I guess I put it away last night. So, on the table right now, we have the Devil card, the Ace of Swords, the Eight of Wands, the Ace of Cups, the Lust card, and the Prince of Discs. Okay? This is a Devil card. That is your first card, all right? And that's pretty much the energy of talking about your quote-unquote bad habits, right? Like your fleshly, your flesh, the desires of your flesh. Let me say it like that. And with this card, it's pretty much indicating like there are some things that you are operating in that you know you need to let go of. It could be people. It could be, situations, circumstances. It could be toxic habits. It can be anything, right? I don't even want to show that card like that. And then, cause right, when I see this card, it's like, you fucking yourself. And, I'm saying that because if you look at this card, how I look at it, this looks like somebody's testicles. This looks like the shaft. This is the vaginal area, right? And it's like, you know that there is something that you're doing to the point where you like, I need to let this go. I need to let this go. But instead of looking at it like that, start to like try to rewire your brain in another way instead of like shaming or blaming yourself. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Start to retrain your brain and then start doing different things. And when I'm saying doing different things, I'm saying that because the Eight of Wands is here. So it's like taking some action, right? Start replacing the actions that you are knowing or wanting to let go of. Start replacing those actions with something else, right? Almost like distracting yourself. But again, it's just doing something different. Do the things that you can be proud of, right? Do things that make you feel better, opposed to you stepping into the thing that you don't want to do. And then while you're doing it, you feel some type of way, right? While you're doing it, all you're doing is like telling yourself, I know I need to stop this stuff. I know I need to do this. I know I need to do that. Like, and it becomes almost like burdensome, right? So put yourself in a position, say for instance, if you, whether it's smoking cigarettes or you dealing with a toxic individual, right? In those moments you be like, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to do it. But something still makes you fall into doing it, right? Start doing something different. Start utilizing the time that you have to do things like Say for instance, working out. After you work out, but first of all, when you about to work out, you don't want to really do it. Sometimes you do, but you don't really want to do it, right? But after you work out, you be like, damn, I'm glad I actually did that. Like, I feel better mentally because I actually accomplished it. You get what I'm saying? Like, you've done something. Pay attention to how you really are. Like, you create. You create. And there was a couple of other signs that had this exact card, right? This is the Lust card. And it's really talking about, like, your power and being able to create. Like, the strength that you have in order to bring forth whatever it is that you actually want to experience in your life. You understand what I'm saying? What you want to do, or what you want to make sure you're doing, is picking up the lessons that life is putting down. And I'm saying that because we got the Prince of Disc. And that's the energy that I associate with this card, right? If you can look at the images or the illustration on the card, he's going through, like he's going somewhere, but he's holding on to what he has picked up along the way. And he's determined. You understand where I'm coming from? Like, he's determined to get to where he's getting to while holding on to whatever it is that he has. You get what I'm saying? Like, so be open, be mindful. We all have vices, right? We all have vices. And sometimes it's not just boom, I'm just gonna let it go. So you really have to plan, like, what you gonna do, how you gonna move. You know what I'm saying? Like, really start to how can I say that? Because I'm not trying to say, like, utilize your time. Figure out how you can, like, I guess, maximize your productivity, right, with the time that you have. You understand where I'm coming from? And that's pretty much how this energy is showing up. I am going to clarify. So when I clarify, I'm for sure finna start with this Devil card. Okay? I'm for sure finna start with this Devil card. And then I'll choose a couple of more that we're going to clarify. We let you know what it is that we need to hear. Can we please have the cards that are going to clarify the Devil card? Can we please clarify the Devil card? Makes sense. So that don't happen often. Like, so when it does happen, I just chuckle, and I'm chuckling because one of the clarification cards to the Devil card is the Devil card, right? So clarifying the Devil card, you got the Empress in reverse, you have the Queen of Wands, you have the Devil card, and then you have the Three of Discs, right? This is an energy of, again, pointing back to your vices or your toxic habits, or, the things that you know that you want to let go of, the things that you want to stop doing, the people that you want to stop hanging around. Did you understand where I'm coming from? You have to recognize and realize how I don't want to say, like, you have to recognize and realize whether or not, like, they're serving who you know you're trying to become, right? Like, how you associate yourself with those energies, are they helping you or are they harming you? Like, what are they actually doing for you, right? Because with the Empress being in reverse, it's like, it's not, you're not showing up in it with this nurturing energy, and this can be masculine or feminine. I mean, male or female. You're not showing up in that nurturing energy, right? Like, you're not sitting on your throne. You're not operating to the best of your ability, right? You're not maximizing, or you're not tapped into your highest potential. And it's the way your potential is set up. Like, if you're here now, okay, when the person you are tomorrow, your potential is a little bit higher than what it was before, right? So as you become better, your potential is like, it expands or something. Do you understand what I'm trying to explain? So just pay attention to what these vices or these toxic habits, like, pay attention to what they doing for you or not. Pay attention to how they showing up in your life. Pay attention to when you, like, what makes you result in going that way, right? What makes you go there? Do you understand what I'm saying? and start working on that. Like, when you, like, what triggers you into going into wanting to associate yourself with the energies or the people that you know are not serving you? Okay? Okay? Okay. It's super dope. Like, when I tell y'all that I actually love like reading the energy of the cards and then showing up and delivering the message in the way that spirit is giving to me, when I man, I love it. Yeah, I love it. All right, let's get back to it. My bad. I had a little moment there, y'all. Forgive me. Forgive me. Yeah, again, you can, how do you work on that? Like, how am I supposed to work on it? That's what I just clearly heard looking at the Ace of Swords. It's like you retrain your brain. Like, you start rewiring your brain. I don't know. I mean, depending on your situation and your circumstances, of course, I can give you some game, right? Point you in a direction, give you some resources, or whatever the case may be. But everybody's situation is different, so you just gotta retrain your brain. Pay attention to the way you think. Spirit, can we have the cards to clarify the Eight of Wands? Can we have the cards to clarify the Eight of Wands? Clarifying the Eight of Wands, we have the Four of Wands, we have the Prince of Wands, and then we have the Two of Cups. So when it's like do something different, right? That's the energy. The Eight of Wands is the energy of like do something different, like replace, like take action quick, pretty much. Like, that's a rapid card. That's some rapid action that needs to be taken. And with the Four of Wands, Prince of Wands, and the Two of Cups clarifying that, the Four of Wands is definitely telling you to, allow situations to end when and where situations may need to end. Okay? It's like there is an ending to all beginnings. Did I say that right? It's always going to be an ending. Okay? Don't try to force something to continue when it's showing you that it needs to end. Allow it to end. Because when you do that, what you're going to do really is make the room or the space for you to start tapping into yourself more. Like, start pouring into yourself more. And a lot of times, sorry, didn't mean to say a lot of times, we are so distracted by the roles that we play for other people and how we feel like we need to show up that we kind of dismiss and or neglect what we need to be doing for ourselves, right? So just let things be what they may, just let them be. Go with the flow. If it shows up and they say like, okay, it's time for us to move on, be okay with moving on. And sometimes it doesn't show up that simple or, that easy for people. It's not that easy for people because they have these emotional attachments to people, to things, to thought processes, to whatever. And if you allow your emotions to be louder than your logic, or you get what I'm saying? Sometimes you can't think clearly. Sometimes you can't see things for what they are. Sometimes you can't really hear what's going on because your emotions are so loud, and that's how you are operating based on your emotions, right? Your emotions, I do believe that your emotions are clear indicators of certain things. However, you just want to pay attention, right? Like, you just really want to pay attention to you. And I hope that makes sense. I really do hope that makes sense. What else do we need to clarify, Spirit? The Prince of this. Spirit, can we please have the cards to clarify the Prince of this? And remember, the Prince of this is that card that is telling you, like, to make sure you pick up the lessons that life is putting down in front of you, sort of kind of speak. Make sure you stay determined. Make sure that you're holding on to, again, the lessons that are being presented to you. So we got the 9 of Wands, we have the 6 of Swords, the 4 of Swords, and the 6 of Discs. Excuse me. My nose was kind of irritating me a little bit. But with the 9 of Wands, it's definitely saying like, so there's two sides to the spectrum, right? Good, bad, negative, positive, cold, hot. And it's up to you to recognize the power that you have in transmuting energy from one side of the spectrum to the other side of the spectrum, right? And that's the 9 of Wands and the 6 of Swords. Because it's like, okay, we're trying to get you to realize how you have the control, how you have the power to shift energy. You have the power to shift the energy. You have the strength to shift the energy. When you are in a situation, and this situation is something that's like making you feel like you're sad, right? You can always find something in that same situation to be appreciative of, to be grateful for, to be happy about, or whatever. But most times we are putting ourselves in a position to focus on the negative that's going on. You know what I'm saying? When just as there is some negative in a situation, there is some positive in the situation too. Again, sometimes we just don't put ourselves in position to see it. So in this case, it's almost like, say for instance, you're in a toxic relationship, right? And you want to move on, you want to let it go. You don't even like how I feel when y'all be being intimate, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you just ain't rocking with the energy no more, period, right? And you done been in this relationship for, let's say, 3 years. Because 3 years really ain't no time, if you ask me, okay? It ain't no time. Especially when you 18 and over. 3 years, you've been in life for 18 years. So you didn't spend 3 years with this person, but you done had 15 years without them, and you done did just fine before they came into your life. You understand where I'm coming from? So you in that situation, it's a toxic situation. You've been in it for 3 years, and it's like, that's 3 years. I didn't waste them. I didn't invested too much time. I didn't invested too much of myself. I didn't invested too much money in this, right? Yeah, that's the negative side of it. The positive side is I still got a whole bunch of life ahead of me. The positive side of it is it ain't over yet, right? Like there's always some positive stuff there, right? At least I'm not gonna sit up here and be downplayed, or at least I'm done. You know what I'm saying? Like there is so many different things that you can look at in a situation on a positive side of the spectrum. So don't get so caught up in being pessimistic or playing a victim or wanting to be a victim of the situation, when if you take a step back and you find that peace of mind on the positive side of the spectrum, that's where your success comes from. That's where it's going to start hitting a little different, because you're going to start recognizing how strong you are, how much power you have, right? Like it's there. It's not on you, it's in you. And that's something that you got to be willing to realize for yourself, not for nobody else. Okay? So, as I stated before, we are going into the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle. Let's see what Spirit has for us in here. Let's see what Spirit has for us up in here, okay? Which may hurt in the situation. Can you please give us the cards so they'll be able to receive the message with an open mind and an open heart? Listen, and y'all be seeing me shuffle these cards. This is why I do not like flip my own cards. Like I'm patient enough to allow them to fly out, flop out, fall out, twist over, or whatever they need to do in order for y'all to see how real this is, basically. Do y'all see that? Did y'all see that? Make the change. It says sword. Make the change. And then look at the image. She's cutting off something, right? She's cutting off her hair. Be willing to cut off. Be willing to cut off what needs to be cut off. No, it's no ill intention behind it. You get what I'm saying? When you gotta do what you know is best for you, it may not be what somebody wants you to do or not, right? Like when it was my time to leave a toxic situation, no, the other party didn't want me to leave. Like they had a ball playing on my emotions and manipulating me mentally and emotionally and physically and sexually and all type of stuff, right? And I was falling for it for a long, long time. So of course, no, they wasn't gonna want me to leave, and they was gonna try to force me to stay or love bomb me or whatever. And I'm just using this as an example, right? Doesn't have to necessarily be your situation, but the energy is there, so you'll be able to feel me in your heart, like your spirit. You know what I'm saying? You'll hear me in your heart and feel me in your spirit. So it's not saying like, oh, I'm gonna mess your world up and I'm gonna leave you alone. No, that's not my intention. I actually want you to be the best version of yourself. I actually want you to be like who you need to be for you. It's just not in alignment with who I know myself to be. So now I have to pick and choose to do what's best for me, right? So I have to detach myself from being emotionally attached to you. I have to detach myself from being sexually involved with you. Like there's a number of different things that you'll have to do to make certain changes, right? And again, other people may not like it. They may think that you're trying to be everything that you're not, right? But at the end of the day, you know what's going on with you. You know how you feel like you need to move, and that's all that really matters. Let me see what's underneath it all. Underneath it all, there's the Princess of Cups, okay? Do y'all see her? This is the energy talking about pretty much like be kind to yourself, be polite to yourself, be generous to yourself, right? Like show up for yourself. You don't have to be so hard on yourself all the time, right? Like say for instance, if you done went back into the situation or you done relapsed or whatever the case may be, right? You don't have to be so hard on yourself about it, because one thing for sure is that you're still growing and learning through the process. So maybe the first time when you fell back into the situation, it wasn't, you was trying, right? And then you left and then you went back. And then as time went on, things got a little more complicated, right? A little bit more uncomfortable for you. So, you're still learning. You're learning new things no matter how many times. You're learning new stuff. But at some point you are going to have to want to, take care of yourself. Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. You feel me? And not be so caught up on the potential of like situations or how people can change. Yeah, people can change and people do change, right? How long are you willing to wait? Right? How long are you willing to put yourself off? How long are you willing to keep yourself out of the position that you're trying to get into? Waiting on yourself or somebody else, right? Just keep that in mind. All right? That is the message that I have for y'all today. I definitely hope it helps in some type of way, shape, or form. Until next time, enjoy yourself.